Hey there, horror lovers, welcome back to The Reel. This week we're looking forward to the release of Universal Pictures' Renfield by listing 8 cool vampires from the history of cinema. Before we get started, make sure to leave a like below and subscribe to our channel for more amazing movie-related lists. In terms of sheer number of appearances, vampires just might be the most prominent monsters in movie history, having been featured in well over 300 films since first appearing in 1922's Nosferatu. We've combed through a good chunk of those 300 films to bring you 8 of the coolest, neck-biting, stake-fearing, sunlight-avoiding bloodsuckers. So without further ado, let's dive in. Number 8. The Girl. A girl walks home alone at night. The Girl, played by Sheila Vand, is a lonely vampire who roams the streets of an Iranian ghost town. Directed by Anna Lily Amirpour, A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night is a haunting and atmospheric coming-of-age story, mashed up with Western and horror tropes. Rocking a black chador and riding a skateboard, the girl is a certified badass and an obvious symbol of female empowerment. The film was shot entirely in black and white, which add to the film's dreamlike quality. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night is worth watching for its unique blend of genres and its mesmerizing visuals. Number 7. Maximilian, Vampire in Brooklyn. Maximilian is a suave and charming vampire, in the vein of Bela Lugosi's 1931 performance as Dracula. Maximilian is the last of his kind, an ancient vampire who has arrived in New York from Egypt by way of Jamaica. Directed by Wes Craven and written by Eddie Murphy alongside his brother Charlie, Vampire in Brooklyn is a horror comedy that blends humor and scares. Eddie Murphy played multiple roles in the film, including a preacher and a cab driver. These multiple roles became a recurring feature of Murphy's films, especially in his follow-up to Vampire in Brooklyn, The Nutty Professor. While a number of jokes in Vampire in Brooklyn have not aged well, the film itself is worth a rewatch for Murphy's hilarious and suave performance, as well as Angela Bassett's scene-stealing presence. Number 6. Jerry, Fright Night 2011. Another charming and charismatic vampire, Jerry, played by Colin Farrell in the 2011 version of Fright Night, moves in next door to the film's teenage protagonist Charlie. Directed by Craig Gillespie, this movie is a modern update of the 1985 original. That film's Jerry, equally suave and equally cool, is played by Chris Sarandon, aka the Princess Bride's Prince Humperdinck. Colin Farrell was initially hesitant to take on the role, but he eventually decided to play Jerry as a mix of James Bond and Hannibal Lecter. If that character mashup isn't enough of a draw, the rock-solid supporting cast, including David Tennant, Toni Collette, and the late Anton Yelchin, should be enough to get you watching. Number 5. Blackula, from Blackula and Scream Blackula Scream. Blackula, played by classically trained Shakespearean actor William Marshall, is an African prince who is turned into a vampire by none other than Count Dracula himself. Prince Mamuwaldi is as cool as they come, powerful and alluring, well-spoken, and well-dressed. In fact, his costuming throughout the film is a mix of traditional African clothing and Victorian-era fashions, creating a distinctive look for the character. Blackula is not only one of the most important blaxploitation films of all time, it is a seriously watchable film thanks to William Crane's consummate direction and Marshall's powerful performance. Number 4. Blade, the Blade Trilogy. Blade, played by Wesley Snipes in all 3 Blade films, is a half-human, half-vampire hybrid who uses his vampiric powers to rid the world of other bloodsuckers. A Marvel character, Blade first appeared in comics in 1971 and has gone through many changes in his origin, look, and overall characterization. His current comic book iteration is heavily influenced by these 3 New Line Cinema films. Gruff, stoic, and unyielding, Snipes' Blade is a force to be reckoned with. Stephen Norrington's original film is a must-watch, as is the sequel, Blade 2, directed by Guillermo del Toro. Unfortunately, the third film in the Blade series, Blade Trinity is a hard pass. But with a new Blade remake on the horizon, with Mahershala Ali taking on the title role, Blade is on the way back to being cooler than ever. Number 3. Lestat de LIONCOURT, Interview with the Vampire. Played by Tom Cruise, the vampire Lestat is, like most of the cool vampires on this list, charismatic and charming. But he's also exceedingly dangerous, reveling in the violence and cruelty of his predatory lifestyle. Cruise's acceptance of the role was a serious gamble for him at the time, but his interpretation of Lestat is simultaneously alluring and terrifying, capturing the character's powerful and seductive personality. Additionally, Cruise's physical appearance and performance as Lestat, his blonde hair, piercing blue eyes, and dramatic movements added to the character's overall coolness. Tom Cruise's portrayal of Lestat is iconic, and his performance in the role is often cited as one of the highlights of the film. Number 2. MIRIAM BLAYLOCK, The Hunger. MIRIAM BLAYLOCK, played by Catherine Deneuve in 1983's The Hunger, is a sophisticated vampire who has lived for centuries with her lover John, played by David Bowie. Directed by Tony Scott, The Hunger is a stylish and sensual take on the vampire genre, taking cues from the Camilla-inspired vampire films of Europe. Catherine Deneuve, who courts both David Bowie and Susan Sarandon in the film, insisted on wearing her own clothes, adding to the character's elegance and sophistication. Miriam is utterly captivating, enigmatic and mysterious, powerful and confident, not afraid to take charge and do what she needs to do to survive. Despite her monstrous nature, Miriam is portrayed with a certain level of sympathy and complexity, making for a fascinating character to watch. Number 1. Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Dracula has been portrayed by an army of cool customers since Bela Lugosi started it all in 1931. And while Christopher Lee, Frank Langella, Udo Kier, Gerard Butler, Luke Evans, and now Nick Cage all brought their own talents to the iconic role, no one has been cooler than Gary Oldman in Francis Ford Coppola's 1992 opus, Bram Stoker's Dracula. From his first on-screen appearance in the Eiko Ishioka-designed red bat armor, to his cloaked elderly count, to his dapper younger self roaming the streets of London, Oldman's performance is dripping with power, seduction, and longing. His captivating performance is buttressed by outstanding costume design, consummate direction, and strong supporting performances, especially from Anthony Hopkins. And that's our list of the coolest vampires from movie history. Who did we miss? Leave your pick in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more great content.